everybody, welcome to another episode of Pokébeasts Mini. And in this video, we will be covering Kubanochoerus. Kubanochoerus was a member of the Entelodonts, which were pig-like but had longer legs, although they are more closely related to whales, if I remember right.
Actually, they are not Entelodonts, but do share similar traits to said animals such as the long legs and skull. They are actually part of the Suide family, the same as modern pigs and boars. Learn to read Yadordak.
Compared to modern pigs, Kubanochoerus' skull was quite long. Of course, another distinguishing feature are not just two small horns on their eyebrows, but one large horn on their heads. This was mainly on males, who likely used them for jousting each other for mate or territorial disputes. If these animals were not crazy enough, they also had hippo-like canines. If you don't know, hippopotamuses have long canines, which are devastating when backed up by a powerful bite. While Kubanochoerus was primarily a herbivore, it wouldn't have turned down the opportunity to scavenge on carcasses and possibly even hunting down smaller animals while foraging for food. This behavior is not unlike modern pigs. Kubanochoerus was a threatening animal, but it didn't deter false saber-toothed cats and bear dogs to hunt it down in the early Miocene. Later during the Miocene, these predators were replaced by true saber-toothed cats and canids. No joke, those animals must have a lot of guts to take these monstrous hogs down. While the information was sparse, there's still enough information to give you an idea of how terrifyingly beautiful these animals were. Anyway, let's see what this unicorn pig would look like as a Pokemon. So did they say unicorn? I mean demonic pig. Demonic unicorn pig. So, yep, scary pig. Haughty flaunt their looks to anyone within their vicinity, regardless of if they want to indulge them or not. Their great intelligence only helps boost their ego. In battle, however, its true colors show. Their fighting style is brutal and underhanded. They only battle and pick on Pokemon they deem beneath them. If faced with a stronger opponent, they'll give into their cowardice and flee. According to legend, Haughty were thought to be the most handsome Pokemon alive, and they strut around as such. I hope I pronounced his name right. But yes, this is Haughty. Yes, this little warthog is, well, based on warthogs with minor aspects of boar piglets. Reminds me of those boar flavoured crisps I have every Christmas from my uncle. Oh, I didn't... Ouch. For stats, as you would have guessed, Haughty is fast and has good physical attack. For abilities, we have the new Pixie called Pixie. What the heck?
I don't know how, but Christmas spelled pigsty as Pixie. And listen, ya spent too much time in that pigsty, ya call ya bedroom.
For abilities, we have a new ability called Pixie, which is very powerful, and I could instantly imagine this little guy being used in Ubers just for this ability alone. You also have Moody, which is very random and not something I would suggest unless you're trying to be unexpected. For same ability, we have another new ability, Sporezorb. This can be devastating alongside powder users like Parasect and Butterfree. I don't know how many other users of Spore moves there are, but I'll look that up for the next segment. Speaking of which, let's see what this vain pig would look like as a, well, as an evolved form. Hated amongst tribes in Malagas for their sloppy and crass nature, Hogideous possessed the body of a brute and the intellect of a virtuoso. It seems even the fellow Pokémon are disgusted by its presence. Due to their similar appearances, Hogideous and Porcupinish have a fierce rivalry, battling each other at any opportunity. Its swollen face is actually lumps of highly reinforced callous skin that protects it from all sorts of damage. Hogideous becomes very aggressive towards Lechonk and eagerly bullies it due to its smaller size. Hogideous churn up the earth with their snout and tusks in search for prey, like Fungus and Paris. Hogideous' toxins are composed of powerful, noxious pheromones. These make dangerous weapons when it starts frothing from the mouth. Despite being incredibly intelligent, Hogideous would much prefer eating all day and creating huge tracts of waste in its wake. This is Hogideous. While it's called the repulsive Pokemon, it really does look menacing and, well, if the term applies, badass. Now, you might be wondering why I have my nose covered. Well, the Dex entry basically said that this guy not only reeks, but the fumes it secretes can be toxic.
You need more than that. Also, yappy them off.
Oh, shit.
Great, now what?
I can still talk. Barely.
But, cause there's still more you need to do.
Why can't you do it?
Eonope. Also, you forgot to say Hideous also has elements of the same water pig in its design.
Alright, stretch. Oh, that's better. Okay then, before we go into the typical tale, let's talk about the design more. Hogideous is based on the giant forest hog, which is the largest known wild pig from what the artist told me. Of course, the individual Eurasian boars could have grown bigger, including extinct boars like Kubanochoerus. Now, the artist also told me that the theme of the entire Pokémon line is based on the African fable called How the Warthog Got Its Warts. They sent me the tale, which I'll read it to you, but here's the timestamp for the Pokémon details if you just don't want to hear about the tale. Forgive me, but I did change some of the text for grammar and continuity purposes, but I do hope I didn't change anything too important. Long ago, the warthog was seen as the most handsome animal there was, which made him incredibly vain and haughty. This of course made Warthog disliked by many other animals. One day, Warthog decided to go out and get a drink at the watering hole. He passed by a porcupine who was tired from a night of foraging. After walking, the porcupine found Warthog's empty den and decided to rest in it for a bit. Now, back to the Warthog, who made it to the watering hole, where he ran into a lion, who was already in a sour mood today. The Warthog couldn't help but brag about his looks to the lion. The lion, fed up with the Warthog, let out a mighty roar and began to chase the Warthog. The Warthog, too panicked to even think, ran all the way to his burrow and dove in head first, unintentionally running into the porcupine's quills. The lion began to laugh as Warthog's face began to swell from the quills. All the other animals who decided to come and see what the commotion was about started to laugh as well. He refused to help Warthog get the quills out. Eventually, Warthog's wounds healed, but was permanently scarred and riddled with warts. After that, the Warthog learned not to be vain, and also to jump into their burrows where first.
Okay, I'll see if going micro it'll do. Well, it's an interesting tale, I won't lie. I like how the artist looked into a folk tale for these designs, which you can see with Hogideous' swollen face, as if pierced by a peanut cracker. Okay, I'll ditch the chipmunk now. Micro me out!
For stats, Hogideous has amazing physical attack with good physical bulk and decent speed. However, it isn't strong on the special end, but some might say who cares. For abilities, we retain Pixie and Sporezorb, a good choice in my opinion, and Moody is replaced by Poison Point, which I personally prefer. For moves, Hogideous has a massive variety of moves. If it had Poison Touch, Hogideous would be formidable. Sucker Punch would be great against faster Pokemon. Toxic or Toxic Spikes would increase the odds of the opposing team being poisoned. One thing I want to talk about is Sporezorb in doubles or triples. Of all Spore moves, I would say Poison Powder is the best one to use simply due to Hogideous being immune to being poisoned, but still having the effect activate. The best Pokemon to complement Hogideous are Venusaur, Breloom, Parasect, and Tangrowth due to their resistance and bulk against ground moves. With Hisuian, Lilligant, and Whimsicott, you have the ability of them being faster, especially Whimsicott's Prankster. Now, Dark and Poison types are quite powerful, having immunity to Psychic type attacks and being poisoned. Also, they're only weak to ground type attacks. The first Pokemon that comes in mind with a good counter is Hippowdon, who has the bulk and type advantage to hit back at Hogideous with super effective force. Ironically, both Cantonian and Alolan Sandslash would also be great counters. The Cantonian variant, again, having the bulk and power, while the Alolan variant is a bulkier counter. Of course, Hogideous is no pushover, especially as it has access to Ice Fang, making most ground-type Pokemon shiver with unease. And Alolan Sandslash would be knocked out from a Revenge or Seismic from a Revenge or Superpower. Of course, if you want to talk about serious counters, while special attacking ground types aren't common, Camerupt and Hollow-Sand have the bulk and power. However, the worst I feel would be Gastrodon. Yes, it isn't immune to poison moves or has the highest special stat, but it's bulky and can recover its health thanks to Recover and its ability Storm Drain. Plus, it has access to Earth Power, which is the most powerful special ground type move so far. Or at least from what I can recall. Oh, and Hogideous hasn't got any super effective moves against it. Sorry, I've been babbling on enough. Oh, I almost forgot. For Terra types, I suggest Flying. This is because it will give Hogideous the immunity to ground moves, while getting Electric and Rock weakness. I would say Ice, but I don't think many people are going to use Ice. An alternative for a defensive typing is Grass. Yes, this does grant it the resistance to ground moves, but I don't know how that would interact with Sporezorb, considering how grass types are immune to powder-based moves. Of course, if you want to just boost the power of your moves, then just go for the other tail types that you see on screen. Overall, Hogideous is powerful if utilised correctly. I would like to thank Sean Falco for another brilliant series of designs. Believe it or not, Hogideous had to be redesigned twice. Actually, admittedly, I would have thought, well, the form you have now would be the final stage and the other one would be the mid stage. But I think the elements are too similar, so I can see why they just replaced it. Yes, so if you want to check out this artist, then please check out their links, you know. They're down in the description below. And also thank you so much for teaching me a bit about, some African folk tales. It's just fun to learn some new stuff. So the artist was disappointed that they didn't have any shinies, so we collaborated together to make them. Haughty's white and gold palette reminds me of wealth and nobility. However, Hogideous' palette shoves its typing with a dark plum with rusted gold and crimson accents. Yeah, these are really good shinies. And if anyone wants to see the other versions we made, and if the artist lets me, then let me know. I might post it exclusively on my Patreon, or maybe I'll just post it on my social sites. Like I said, depends what the artist wants. So yeah, Sean Falco, who you should check out by the way, please let me know what I should do with the other versions we made. Okay, so I got a bit of a cold, so I do apologize if my voice sounds a little bit, well, weird. But yeah, like I said, thank you so much to Sean Falco for their work. And, you know, as I always say, I encourage you to check out the artist's social sites, which you can find down in the comments or description below. Keeping it brief, I'm just trying to get a lot done this year, so it's mostly going to be finishing things off, but I will admit I've started some things as well, so stay tuned for that. If you enjoyed this video, then please give it a thumbs up. And if you enjoyed the content I make on this channel, please consider subscribing. And don't forget to click that bronzong, aka the bell. And if you want to support this channel even further, please consider becoming a patron. Minimum cost is £1. And last of all, what extinct life form would you like to see in this series? Please let me know in the comments. In the past, present, or even future, I will see you there. Bye!